change.
I totally disagree with you. Parents, if your parents keep flogging you for a mistake and then you have not changed, it's your fault.
No, you cannot be charged for because that parent,
Are we the first generation?
no,
Are we the second generation?
No.
It's if generation has passed, and experience should have been gotten from generation what past. And we understand that as generation passed, changes what occurred.
Our parents are also human. So, I know, see me, I know about that part. I understand what you are talking about.
what you say to a child sticks to that child forever. If you tell the child you are a mistake, that child will see his or herself as a mistake forever till that thought is changed.
I totally disagree with you.
As a parent, you are a watchman over your children, both physically and what? Spiritually. Hello, welcome back. Last time we stopped halfway on the episode Are Parents Responsible for Their Child Depression? This is the part 2 of it. Please don't miss out. I believe you enjoyed yourself last time where our teenagers was sharing their experience and talking about the reason why children fall into depression, the causes by parents and the causes from peer pressure. So on part 2 we are going to be talking about more. Do well to click on the notification bell. If you've not subscribed, please do well and subscribe and share to friends so that they will not miss out on this wonderful episode. God bless you. Let's go.
See, it's not only there are times when it's not our parents cannot help us in some situations. Like let's say, for example, now some of us that we are young, we already entering relationship, and then you know that your parents have told you not enter relationship, but then you're already inside the relationship already, and then you need advice. Will you now go to your fellow peer? You as a child also, aside from your parents, you're supposed to have this person that you really look up to, somebody that will give you good advice.
And what about if my parents is that kind of type? You know, we talked about parents should free their hand as their children is growing up, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I was small, if I do anything, is wow. When I was small, anything is wow, they will eat me. Wow. At the age of 5, it was wow. Spare the rod, spare the child. At the age of 9, wow, spare the rod, spare the child. 14, wow, spare the rod, spare the child. Now, they've not called you even in 14, even in 13, because in nowadays, girls start seeing their flow on a very early age, some 12, some 13. They've already started seeing their menstrual flow. And it happens that so many of them, they get to see it and friends has to educate them, even before their parents. Am I lying? But the parents has not calculated, okay, this is how this world changes is going now. That, before, we ourselves, we usually see our own 16, but our children now, we don't know. They see their own early. It means before immediately they clock 12, some of their birthday should not just be for just excitement, buying them gift, is to call them together, see them, tell them about the reality of the age they are stepping into. Because I believe if you are sat down and talk to about this reality, you will not deliberately go there except you were pressured by peer. That's why we bring peer pressure. But now we're keeping peer pressure aside. We're talking about the reaction of some parents. Some parents at 14, they still believe in the reality of the way to treat a child of 8 years. They're treating a child of 14 years that way. They are not freeing the hand. So how do you expect to go and tell your parents that they told you not to? And imagine sometimes they want to tell you that reality. These are the tell you. The day you are going to follow but the guy big one that will give you not ever forget them. And you get that kind of reality. It's a warning, not an advice. So many times the parents, they warn us about things we don't even know about. So how do you expect us to stay away from those things? Because we are the type of people that want to avenge. We like adventure. Do you understand? Teenagers, we like adventure. We want to see why this is this. Now you are telling us that the day when I go see you, they will start conquering you before the thing happens. It happens to us, right?
Yeah.
They start conquering you before the thing happen. Some of the it's not the best, sometimes it's not the best way to teach them. You sit them down, you advise them. Now I've come to you before that, if you get boyfriend, but then you now have boyfriend because of peer pressure now. This is a mistake that happen because of peer pressure. Now, how can I go and tell my parents when I know if I tell them when I get small, if I shift share comot for position when they say my no shift na cane na twa.
Like if you notice, like I said before, our parents are also human beings. You said maybe
So they are human beings. So
I know. See, I know about that part. I understand what people are talking about here. But we should also know that sometimes here, when our parents are taking certain actions or they are raising us in a certain way, it's because they've learned from they are training you from experience. Maybe when they were young, their own parents used to talk to them and say, my pikin, no do am like this. Wait. I understand
true.
that part.
Thank you.
Time changes. Let me
So they
learn.
need to adapt to the time that we are now, not then.
Okay, Sir Benedict.
Let me tell you something. Okay, let me give you your own example. For example, let's say there's a provision store outside, and then maybe you went there to go and buy biscuits. Maybe you've gone there like 4 times or 5 times to go and buy biscuits, and every time you buy biscuits, then there's always air inside. And then another, maybe your friend now comes to this and be like, alright, they go buy biscuits. So you will definitely tell your friend, I beg, not go that store, go the store where they the other junction, because these people they sell biscuits. You are not going to consider that maybe today their own fit different too. So that's the point of your parents too. They were maybe in their own time they were like, oh, now talk my mama used to finish me. She always they talk to me, you know what? Okay, so because they taught me this way and I did not learn, I made so many mistakes. Now let me try this other method with my child. Let me try and use the harsh method. And that's why I made mention of the word our parents are also human beings. Sometimes they are teaching us from life experience.
Okay, can we say something? Are we the first generation?
No.
Are we the second generation?
No.
It means generation has passed and experience should have been gotten from generation past. And we understand that as generation pass, changes occurs. So if our parents was treated like that, a wise parent should treat his children with love. Is there any anthem of love when a mother starts discipline a child for something that has not happened?
There are so many cases where parents show love, enough love, and then the child will still go astray. Even in this present generation, like you made mention, you said what's it called? That your parents.
And sir, we said enough love, the child will still go astray. Then peer pressure has to come into the place.
Peer pressure is a personal choice. It's not your parents' fault.
Yes, it's not their parents' choice.
It's not your parents' fault.
But how can someone that is not your best friend, that is not the one that introduced you to life experience, be the one to convince you just one day? It means that person is coming from a high stand of what? Of demonic influence.
And is that the parents' fault?
See, now it's the parents' fault. This is what I will say is the parents' fault. As a parent, you are a watchman over your children, both physically and spiritually.
Yes. See, let me tell you something here. There are times where a father will tell their child, let me not see you with this boy, or let me not see you with this girl again. But then because you are stubborn, it's your own personal attitude. You can train a child very well. Like this popular saying, if you carry donkey go river, but you know go force the donkey make it drink water. Your parents has been teaching you.
Sir, can I come from that point? He said you can carry a donkey to a river and you can't force the donkey to drink water. It means you can definitely want to try to make a child understand something, but the child does not understand it. Then you are treating the child as if he has understand the thing. That's what you are trying to do. Because if the donkey has drink the water, the thing will enter into his body and will receive a dimension of strength or a dimension of conviction, right?
Of course.
Now, these children have not come to the understanding of what you are chasing them away from. Then you are trying to blame them. Why?
Let me tell you something.
So that's why it's the responsibility of the parents to make them to get a sense of maturity in that thing that are chasing them away from. So that when they go, okay, let me ask you something. If you understand your identity, you are trained in the way that you understand your identity, you understand your value. in the community, in your family, do you think anybody can persuade you to go against your value and your identity?
Let me say something.
So it means the parents
All of
are
us
not
here.
doing that.
All of us here, all of us here like this, we are all teenagers. There are some of us that even this thing called peer pressure is something that is very strong. See them inside 100%, 70-80% of times you are mostly with your peers or other people. So your parents, there are so many cases where you see that a child has grown so much spirit. Like the Bible says, evil communication corrupts
Okay,
the manners.
can we try to talk about the analysis you give just now? You say 70%. Let's use the analysis for ourselves. When you were age 5, which person do you stay with more?
And this
Age
is
6, which person do you stay with more? How many hours do you spend in school?
7 hours.
8 hours.
Eh?
8 hours.
How many hours do you have in the day?
24.
The rest one is with who? So do you tell me that your friends have more time?
Over the years, if you start calculating the time, if you start calculating, even statistics has been proven. If you start calculating the time that you've been in school and the rest, you spend more time in school. Sometimes it's not just school. You go for your friend's birthday party, you go to your cousin's house, you go to your friend's house for sleepovers and the rest. Over the time, even statistics are proving it. That
How many of us are going
we
to our
spend-
friend's house for sleepover? It's only 3 persons. How many of us are parents allowed it?
We are just here. Let's talk about the outside world like this.
No, we're talking about the outside world. Now, going for sleepover, going to that, for the fact that this is happening like this, is it supposed to be so? Who is supposed to spend the most time with the children?
Those are spend. Let me tell you something. It's parents. Let me tell you
So
something.
if it's not happening like that, who is at fault? Is it the
Let me-
children or
it's
the
something.
parents?
It's something that
Parents.
it's something that we naturally don't control. Even you too. You can say you can agree with me that as okay. Let's even remove the aspect of going to visit and everything. You can agree with me that it's not the parents' fault that in fact children spend more time with their peers more than they spend with their parents. It's not because it's their parents' fault, it's because it's just something that is natural.
So those
Are you saying that
when they're spending with their parents now, let's assume now let's assume a parent that is working from home. Now that little amount of time that they are spending with their parents is not supposed to be useful. Now they pay more attention to their work, making that time invaluable. So now them going to their friends and spending more time with their friends, when they learn new things from their friends, they'll be like, I've learned new things from my friends. They will not want to spend more time
not
with their
like
friends.
like I said, for a parent, you said a parent working at home now that sometimes you don't have the time for the child. For a parent to be able to focus on their work at home, it means they trust their child. So you now going out and learning something is your own personal choice. It's not your parents' fault. You cannot control. Let me tell you something. You don't spend more time for school past house. If you calculate everything together, you are here now. Your parents are not here. If your parents stopped you, we are here for a good cause. We are here to learn from each other. And now we are not with our parents, and we are also learning something good. This is a very good company that we have right here. We're also learning something good. You can agree with me that we have been spending more time with our peers and everything than we spend with our parents. It's something that we cannot control. It's just natural. Your parents allow your mom or your dad, they allowed you to come here because they trust you, because they've given you lessons.
Okay, in some kind of house, let me say in a home where there's actually problems going on now. Now the child is born out of mistake now. Now the parent will keep blaming the child for that mistake. Now the parent is not showing love to that child. Now that child will never carry any amount of problem to his or her parents, because now they believe that okay, I'm not important. Since they say I'm the cause, let me just be with us. Let it just be that way. Since they say it so, let it just, because the tongue is very powerful.
Of course.
What you say to a child sticks to that child forever. If you tell the child you are a mistake, that child will see his or herself as a mistake forever till that thought is changed.
I totally disagree with you. You know why? Learning does not just come from your parents alone. The same way all of you now have been talking about peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure, as a wise child that you are, that you are supposed to be. If you're not able to talk to your parents, you must have this one of your parents' friend or your pastor that you seek good advice for. And that's what I'm saying. Depression does not just start. You cannot just wake up one morning and say you are depressed. The only way you can be depressed is because you have been feeding it. You have been growing that anxiety. It first starts from feeling bad. Before you know, you start feeling sad, and then it gets to anxiety level, and then depression. You have been feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. You're not talking to anybody. You cannot talk to your parents. The reason why I'm saying parents are not the cause of our depression is because you can go through things. Yeah. If you decide to focus on it, that's when the thing will keep on
Even
going.
a wise child can be pushed to the limit. Even a wise child.
A wise child can be pushed to a limit.
A wise child can be pushed.
Everybody has their limits,
When
of course.
that child will just drop everything that he or she has learned from the parents and just say all these things I've learned are nuisance. They are nothing.
If you said a wise child drop everything they've learned from their parents. If they are dropping it, it's not their parents' fault. It's their fault. Your parents are giving you good morals. They've taught you well. They grew you in the presence of God.
Okay, they taught
and
you
then you
well.
are not
Okay.
dropping everything. Then it's your fault. The fact
Okay,
that you've
let's
learned and you're
imagine
dropping,
something
then
like
it's your
this now.
fault.
We all go to school, right? We all go to school. Yeah? We go to school. Let's say a teacher comes and a teacher drops the topic. Let's say the topic is civic education. Then the topic under it is value. Now the teacher wrote a note on it. You read it and left. Is it your work to explain it to yourself and get, or it's the teacher's work to explain it to you? Now the teacher has given you the note, yes. You read it, yes. Now if you use your own age understanding to read that book, is whatever you understand, that is what you take. Because the teacher failed to explain first. So you have to explain to yourself that this is the way it is.
If they are teaching you something good, you said the topic value, and then you pick up your book and then you are now reading that this is what value is. It's only when like I'm going to say as a reasonable person, they are teaching you something about value. Why would you want to pick something bad out of what is
Okay,
good?
teaching a child is not something of once, not twice, it's not thrice, it's not 4 times, it's not 5 times, not 6 times. It has to be constant. Okay, I tell you something once, I told you again, I told you thrice, then I left it. Since you are not going to change, I left you to it. Do what you want to do. Now that's not the rule of the parent. You are supposed to keep telling the child this thing every day. That's when your conscience starts building up. That when you want to do this particular thing, you now start remembering what your parents have said to you
Continuous correction
before.
is good.
Continuous
Continuous
correction is good.
correction is
But when you
very-
just correct
is
them
very
once,
good.
you
You
correct
know-
them twice, and you correct them thrice, and left it like that, they tend to, okay, since
Instead
you
of
said
making
it's
that
only
continuous
thrice,
mistake,
that means it's not
it's not
valuable.
the parents'
It does
fault.
not have a meaning.
A child making continuous mistake is not the parents' fault.
That is
It's
where the
their
parents
fault.
come in, because
So
the
okay, are you
parents
trying to
is a
say?
guy.
Are you trying to say that? Are you trying to say that? Us now as Christians, we should continue sinning against God, sinning and sinning and sinning and sinning and sinning, and God to continue to forgive us.
Why do you
It does
think?
not make any sense at all.
Why do you think they preach the gospel every day? Why do you
For
think?
us to learn.
Okay, for us to learn. Now that's the rule of a parent. You are supposed to teach them every single day of your life. There's no.
Okay.
There's not
You
supposed
said
to be
the
a gap.
gospel.
Yes.
You said the gospel. Okay,
Yes.
so when we sin against God, who are we blaming? Should we blame God? Because God is continuously showing us His love and care every single time. So because I've been showing us love and then we now sin, Who should the fault go to?
Let me tell you
Ourselves,
something,
of
yeah.
course,
Let me tell you
not
something.
God.
The
Because
Bible
they've
is
been
a
showing
very
us
big
love. So that's how our parents are. Because they have been correcting us and correcting us and correcting us, and then we now make mistakes.
Now let
Okay,
me
When
now
we make
for,
that
for,
mistake,
for the
it's
part
not
of
our
God,
fault.
for the part of God, God gave us a commandment. Did our parents give us any commandment?
That's it. Now listen.
Was there
You
any
just said it.
Wait,
You just
wait a second. The Bible is a very big book. Now, even the pastors learn new things every day. So when they open the book of the Bible, they read it. We go to church on Sunday. This particular verse that was taught today can be taught by somebody else and still be another different thing entirely. So you trying to teach a child, you are also learning, yeah? You are learning too. Now, you go for seminars. Let's assume that parents, yes, they do go for seminars. Now, that particular thing that you thought was right, you were teaching your child, was now explained to you in another different way. Now, you have to clean that thought from your child entirely and start building it up again from the scratch. You tried it once, you tried it twice, you tried it thrice, then you left it. That change was supposed to continue. It was not supposed to, there was not supposed to be a gap at that time. Because the more the child grew, the more the child is learning every single day. Not even every single day. Every single passing hour, a child is learning. From the movies, from the church, from the parents, from the friends. They are learning different things.
It's the same thing we're saying. Now, what in this whole case now here? So because my parents, they have been teaching me, and then I now make mistake. Am I not supposed to blame my parents for it? I just want a direct answer, yes or no.
No.
Exactly. So why are we confusing ourselves?
We are not actually confused.
They have been teaching us and teaching us and teaching us, but then we made mistake. This fault is not our parents. It's now our own fault. It's now our own mistake. And that's why I said,
what if it comes to a parent where a parent refuses to correct that mistake? Now they say learn from your mistake. Learn from your mistake does not mean you should make that mistake first. Some people will say learn from others' mistake. Some people will say learn from your mistake.
does
That mistake
does
must
God
not be
stop you from
committed
sinning?
from you first.
Does God stop you from sinning?
Okay, can we come from a
Let me
standpoint
tell
of
you- let me
view?
tell you a
Now, even
different
when
thing.
God gave man instruction and redeemed man, he never left man alone. He has to give man the Holy Spirit
He gave
to teach, to continue
but
teaching
teach
man.
them.
to continue teaching man. But now, man still make mistake even with the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Okay, let's say
Men
okay,
still
okay.
make mistake.
Let's say,
And
let's make
that
a
mistake
difference
now,
here, yeah?
because you cannot
Listen,
blame the
let
Holy
me-
Spirit,
let's make a
and you
difference.
cannot blame God. And that's the same
See, the reason you cannot blame the Holy Spirit is because the Holy Spirit will always remind you. He will always comfort you.
I
He's
know,
always there to comfort you. It's just that you
Now,
pay
according
deaf
to you,
ear to
Benedict,
it.
you
It's
said
our
that-
parents
you said
always
that-
comforting
okay,
us.
You said that parents are human beings. Now let's leave all that side. Now, the reason why, in fact, the reason why God actually brought parents was because of us. So them trying to abstain from their duties, that is a very nonsense excuse. Because once God cannot come down and come and be teaching you something now. He will come down and teach you.
That's how,
why the parents,
and that's
they
how
are
your parents
guides.
cannot be with
They
you
are
every
guides. They
time.
are human
Yes,
beings.
your parents are your guides. Yes.
They cannot be with you every time, but they can create
Yes.
time for you.
Oh, they
They
will create
can.
time for you, but they wait.
But they just
wait.
decide not to.
They are not deciding
Some
not
of
to.
them decide not to. They feel
You are
that
not-
okay, I'll
you are
provide
not-
for
you are not making-
I'll provide for you, and that's all.
We are not making.
clothes,
We are
I
not
clothe
making a
you.
very
You
stand.
need
We are not
food, I've
making a
fed you.
very valid point now.
Okay.
What I'm saying now is, what I'm saying now is, you've made mistake. You said your parents teach you something once, now teach you again, and they teach you again, and they teach you again, and they not teach you again, and then you now make mistakes. So that
Everybody
mistake
is
now,
bound. to
are we
make
now?
mistake.
Everybody is bound to
Everybody
make
is
mistakes. So
bound.
because we have made mistake now, we should not blame our parents for it.
Everybody is bound. To
Sometimes
make
when we are
That's
making
when
these
the
mistakes,
parents
our
teach
parents there
them.
to stop us. They are not always there with us, and it's not possible for our parents to always be there with us, and that's why their teachings are supposed to be there with us. And when we make mistake, it's our fault. We should be held accountable for it. It's our fault.
Now, we should remember the topic we are talking about is called depression. Before a child gets to a point of depression, it means he has got too far. He has no belief in himself. He has no belief in whatsoever is going around him. So before a child should get to that level, it means maybe the parents have not been doing their responsibility, because if they are giving emotional care, they are giving mental care, physical attention, I don't see the reason why a child should get to the level of depression, because during this, when those things are disturbing he or she will be able to open up to the parents and let the parents know about it. If the
Like
parents
I said
are not the
before,
type that are
like I said before,
harsh,
it's only when you feed something that's when that thing will grow. Secondly, like I said before, learning does not always have to come from your parents. You know that as a person, you cannot discuss this thing. I cannot discuss. There are certain things that you cannot tell your parents. You should have this mentor. You have pastors around
you should have mentor. Then we were speaking about, as children grow up, the first mentor of every child should be his what? His parent. It is wrong for your neighbor or just the pastor to be the mentor to your children. You
Then
as
why
a
do we
parent
have
should be.
then why do we have pastors?
Yes, we have.
Why do we take our children to church?
They emphasize on the word of God. That's when change is come.
They emphasize on the word of God.
For example, let's
See,
make
if you even listen, if you
example
even
now.
see when sometimes when our parents are being harsh, they are saying the same thing, but then they are doing it in a more disciplined way. But then they are saying in church, they are saying don't steal, but your mommy is using cane. Not if you get they use cane for it's the same thing they are both saying, but then they have different methods.
Okay,
Now,
And that is why I
do you know
said
that?
do you think correction should-
Do you know that the work of the church is different from the work of the parent? They are two different things.
what
Now,
is
the work of the
God?
church
What-
is teaching or is emphasizing on the gospel. Now, God said, teach the gospel. He not say, go, may you go teach teenagers where you grow.
Let me ask you something.
Okay, now
What is the
understand.
church?
Don't
I'm
contradict
coming.
yourself.
I'm coming. What is the church? The church is not the building. We all of us now like this. We are the church. So it's not just we are not just going to church because they are emphasizing. Anybody can emphasize on the gospel. You can be in the streets and then somebody is emphasizing on the gospel
But
more than
somebody
what
can
you are
actually
learning
emphasize
from
on
your
the
pastor.
gospel in the wrong way.
Of course.
Definitely. Somebody can actually emphasize on it.
Well,
Then
I'm
you
not
will
arguing
think that
one.
okay, you will think that what your pastor has been saying says is the wrong thing. Then why is this pastor preaching like this and this pastor is preaching like this? Now that is where the parents come and tell you that,
And that
this
is where
what the
that is
gospel
where that is where the spirit of discernment comes in.
Okay, can we go further? You talked about train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, what you will not want. You know what's bad for me. Now understand. I said teenagers, they are more what emotional being. Now this is the way your parents have been training you. Spare the rod, spoil the child. So they always flog you in every single mistake you do. They always flog you. As you grow up as a teenager, you will not want to receive that. Flogging you become an embarrassment to you, right? Now you don't want to receive embarrassment because you are getting more in your emotion, you are getting more mature, and in psychology you are getting more what? Mature. So now if that parents you know for the past 12 years has been using one strategy to correct you, it means if you have issue at the age of 12, that 12 years, if you speak to them will not stop them from not using that same strategy. That is how the teenager will
If your,
feel.
if your
that's
parents
where-
if your parents keep flogging you for a mistake and then you have not changed, it's your fault.
No,
You
it cannot
be-
be
you
the
be-
child's fault
you be
because
goat,
that
Abi, you be
parent,
cow.
They are-
that
they are
parent,
parents like
How
that.
your friend will be flogged,
Let me
flog
tell
you,
you
flog you.
that
And then you are
parent,
They are
that
parents.
parent has already
Flogging is
created
not the
fear in your mind. That parent has created fear in your mind. Now that parent have made you believe that if I do this thing, now flog will flog me. So whether
why
you're
you
doing the right
Then
thing
why
in your
you
mind,
do it? Is that not
doing
your
wrong,
fault?
they are
You are
flogging.
walking in the wrong
Now
path. It's not
they
your
are
fault
flogging
because
you. It's
they
not
have
almost all the
disciplined
time.
you.
Okay, now
They have
can we
disciplined
talk
you. Why is
about
he doing
some
that
common
thing?
things that leads teenagers to depression so that we find a very safe place to land? What are some of the things that cause teenage depression?
Insecurity.
Insecurity, one.
Assumption.
Comparison, two.
Too much expectation.
Too much. Our secretary, can you put those things down so that we know?
Insecurities, peer pressure,
Comparison.
comparison, assumptions, too much expectation.
Okay, too much expectations. So can we talk about all these things in context of parents and teenagers so that we not get ourselves wrong? Now we talked about what the first one is what insecurity. So how will I be secure now? I'm have to talk about how will I love the fact that we discuss together, we share idea, we share idea. But let's be realistic now. How will I be secure with a parent that has taught me that the only way to correct someone is to make the person feel pain?
Man, first of all,
Just answer the question.
how do you feel?
I don't want you to defend the parents. How will I be secure with someone that has always taught me that the way to correct someone is to make the person feel pain?
Not possible.
Is it possible?
It's never possible.
Okay, if you believe it's not possible, let me see your hands.
Depression is real. This week on Inside Gospel Hub, we'll be dealing with depression, the remedies and how we can deal with it, maybe the causes as well. So please stay tuned and don't miss this amazing episode of Depression.